listening to Radio on Berlin. Yeah!
Okay, here I am with Jason Oni, myself, Adrian Shephard, and we're walking down the legendary Oranienstrasse. I don't know why it's so legendary, but...
Looking in the meat shop window.
Oh yeah, choice meats. It's nearly December 2022 and all the Christmas lights and Weihnachtsmarkts, Christmas markets are around. And I just bought a chocolate Santa for my daughter for this St. Nicholas Day, which we don't have in the UK, but...
Nor do we have it in the States.
No.
Though I think certain families celebrate different traditions, and certain families might actually celebrate Nicholas. Nicholas is different than Christmas Day.
Definitely, yeah.
Right.
It's even a different day over in the UK. It's the 25th.
Excuse me? The 25th is Christmas Day, isn't it?
Yep.
Right, but Nicholas is about a week and a half, if not 2 weeks before Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And I don't want to forget it, because my daughter will... I'd be disappointed, I think.
Nicholas is this day where... I guess you can actually receive gifts, but what typically happens is St. Nicholas will drop by your front door and stuff your shoes with tangerines and walnuts and hazelnuts and chocolate bars and things like that.
Nice.
And I was just commenting, what the hell kind of day is that? Can't these spoiled brat kids just wait until Christmas Day instead of having to have somebody come by and give them something extra?
But when you were a kid, Jace, what happened? What was it? Because we went to midnight mass, the night before Christmas. We were serving on the altar, Catholic, ex-Catholic, and me,
right.
Ex-Catholic, I must stress.
Uh-huh.
Still exorcising that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And for yourself?
Well, once I started going to Catholic school, we would go to midnight mass.
Yeah. It was kind of exciting as well.
Right. But typically what would happen is I'd get really impatient. I'm not talking about midnight mass anymore. Before Christmas, I'd get really impatient and start sneaking around the tree, crawling around the floor, army man style, trying to rip wrapping paper to peek into gifts and things like that. And I think at one point in time, what did I get? Football helmet, shoulder pads, and a jersey. I saw that, and once my dad caught wind of that, it was immediately taken away from me, and I never received the gift.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day, took it away.
Day,
so the presents were empty. There were no presents for you?
No, that particular gift was gone. That particular, the helmet, the shoulder pads, and the jersey were gone.
Wow.
And I remember another time I was sneaking around the tree, and I somehow wasn't being careful, and when popping up, my head unplugged the Christmas tree lights in such a way that it caused this big, huge shock.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and I literally tabletopped. I literally jumped up in the air and was just boom, flat on the floor. And I'll never forget the flash from that shock left a scorch mark on that Bakelite plastic plate.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And that was a telltale sign that something was afoul among the gifts. That was a completely separate Christmas, though. I can't remember exactly which one that one was. But yeah. But Nikolaus, I haven't really thought about Nikolaus in a long time. When my kids were much younger, that's when we really used to pay a lot of attention to Nikolaus. Yeah. There he is right there, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. Look, here we are in the Apotheker window. Yeah.
And baubles and, a little fawn hanging out among the Christmas
trees. Yeah, this is actually opposite the Radio 1 studio, and this little fawn, every time I go past here with my 8-year-old daughter, she just loves it so much. It doesn't take too much. Uh-huh. So Christmas, so exciting, at this age, it seems.
Yeah.
Well, not for all, it's not celebrated by everyone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
No,
certainly not in this neighborhood.
No, and here we are.
The gift-giving aspect of it is, but not the religious observance. Yeah. But my mom took that stuff super seriously. We had a nativity scene underneath the Christmas tree.
Nice.
And Christmas Eve, my mom would slink out of her bed and put the sweet baby Jesus into the manger, and we'd wake up in the morning and, wow, there he is. So I actually still really like Christmas a lot. It's not just a nostalgic feeling. It sort of serves as a marker for this time of year.
Now going past Cortex, Kreuzberg record store, hardcore. How would you describe this place?
It's your hardcore one-stop emporium.
Indeed, yeah.
They've got everything you need in here.
They even have gigs and stuff like that.
They have concerts in here. They have collectibles in here. Look, they've even got crazy color hair dye in here. They've got towels and shower sandals I can see from here.
I know.
Beach stuff.
Yeah, there's house slippers that say fuck off on them. I know that. Cortex, home of hardcore and punk on Oranienstrasse here. Cortex Records. Anyway, that was an advert, wasn't it? Look, t-shirts, no place for racism, homophobia, sexism, fascism, hate.
Yep. They got Santa Cruz socks up there. They got everything.
Got the lot.
Did you notice this too? I think you can become a patron of Cortex, and when you do that, you get your own little name here.
I've never seen that
on
before.
the bench out front.
There's a bench, yeah, and it's covered in stickers, of course.
During the warmer months, on Tuesdays, typically this entire crowd gathers and sits out here and drinks Cortex beer.
Yeah. So what names can we see? Jace, can you see?
I don't have my glasses. Here says Eddie. Here's Luigi Nubby. There's Yogus. Udo Cortex. Andy Sofia Vito. David Charlotta. I know who Udo is. I don't know who these other guys are. Musti Montana. M. Schlumpf. Here's Fenner. Here's Ingo. Here's Eisen Franco.
And some of the bands, do you recognise them?
I don't know, not so much. A lot of this stuff is sort of bands from today. A lot of these stickers are also represent labels and clothing lines. What is this, an Antifa sticker? Mm-hmm. Various different things. Notice they don't have any Christmas stuff in the windows whatsoever.
No, there's no Christmas hats, are there? Or anything like that.
No fairy lights. What do you call them? Fairy lights? Christmas lights?
Yeah.
None of that around anywhere.
But for those of you out there that don't know about Jason Oney's past and connecting it with the hardcore and punk scene, Jace, a quick advert? Well, a quick brief resume of your legendary past.
I was just super active from 80 to 89 in a couple of bands in the in the San Francisco Bay Area. The first one was Grim Reality, a San Jose band. Sort of around the time of, there were a whole slew of bands that came immediately before us. Bands that I don't see any reason why to really mention them. But by the time we came around, other bands like The Faction, for example, bands like Los Olvidados and Ribsy were sort of happening in our part of the Bay Area. And then later I joined this band called Social Unrest, who was sort of a Bay Area punk fixture. And I did about 6 or 7 years with that band at various times, especially through the late 80s. And then there was a period of time in the mid 90s where we got back together for a minute and recorded some stuff. But yeah. You can find that stuff in that record shop. They've got that stuff over there. So
Jason, you are in that record shop.
I've seen stuff of mine in there before, yeah. of ours, rather, I should say, of ours. Yeah.
Okay. But there's loads of stuff on Radio 1 about Jason's adventures in this scene, in this seminal scene, I should say, and legendary.
Early 80s US hardcore.
Indeed.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Now it's Christmas.
Stay tuned for our special that we're going to do on the Screamers, because those are even more so the days.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen soon. Yeah, that was a brief advert there. More adverts. It's full of adverts.
And Nicholas Schreck are going to open the Screamers release that appeared a couple of years ago. And there's going to be an excerpt from a Paul Roessler interview that I'm going to do. And Nicholas's Screamers poem, his Paean to Tomato de Plenty, is going to be aired. And there'll be an awful lot of talking up, down, and around about the Screamers.
Fantastic.
With some music.
Look them up.
Yeah. They're pretty easy to find out about. There's an awful lot of information out there about them. And they have a huge YouTube presence.
Here we are in Rio Reiser Platz. It's just been renamed.
Yeah.
Any notes about Rio?
Not really. How about you?
Oh, well, I could just read what's on this post over here. There's a... can I read it, though? I don't know. It does say, look... 1950, als Rio Reiser born, Ralph Christian Mobius, 9th of January 1950 in Berlin. The band formed here. Oh yeah, Tonstein Scherben from 1970 to 1985. That was the famous band that he founded. He was the singer and lyricist. And they formed here in Kreuzberg, in this area, which would have been SO36, SO36, at Oranienstrasse 43 in the summer of 1970, and songs such as König von Deutschland, King of Germany, Alles Lüge, It's All Lies, or Unimond, June Moon, Unimund, made Rio Reiser one of the most popular musicians, singing in German until his death, both with Tonstein Scherben and as a solo artist, and politically outspoken rock music. But yeah, this Platz here, which was what's the name of Platz before? God, I've forgotten now. Heinrichsplatz, yeah.
Yeah.
Was renamed in the summer of 2022 here, and punk bands did play.
May or June, I think it was. It's been a few months now. Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting to be on the bus and coming to this area, and the BVG, have changed it to Rio Reiser Platz, which is kind of bizarreness. But
I
they
heard
shows
that name for years and had no idea in the world who it was.
Yeah, me too. I must admit. But he was seminal, or the band were seminal and very politically active. And
sort of immediately synonymous with Kreuzberg and the whole squatting scene.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's primarily the reason why they've chose to rename the Platz after Rio Reiser. Although I don't really sort of want to get into it here because I don't know the facts enough to really discuss this, but I do know that it is somewhat controversial calling it Rio Reiser Platz because of his legacy. I know it wasn't an easy process, and I know there's some people who were dead set against it.
Yep.
But because I don't know the facts enough to really talk about it, I'm not going to get into it here. But yeah, it is now officially no longer Heinrichsplatz. It is Rio Reiser Platz.
And that's Berlin all over, isn't it? Like change and pushing forward things. Oh, the air is full of the smell of grass.
Woo,
suddenly, whoa, where did that come from? It must be this guy that's working on the side of the building who's just totally splattered. I don't know.
Some of the guys from the local tattoo shop after work come in here and smoke J's and drink.
Oh yeah.
So maybe
but what was the name? Because I know that's a really famous cafe on the corner.
The Bateau Ivre, the drunken boat, named after the Rimbaud poem.
Oh yeah.
Right, and this is the Franken.
Franken, yep.
And then we have the Taqueria Florian over here around the corner.
Yep. And SO36, this is the very
right across the street.
Famous or legendary sort of performance space.
Right. And then we have the Golden Hahn over here around the corner, the old neighborhood.
And
punk.
some Elefanten.
Yeah.
Well, my flatmate loves to play cards and drinks. Yep.
There.
Yep.
At the Elephant.
Some Elefanten. Yeah. Yep.
Boy, that lady got so mad at me one time. I was giving a tour through here, a private tour. It was a stag do, about 17 English guys, and they went in there and bought drinks and used the bathroom, and she was furious.
Oh.
I stood outside for a while and just had a conversation with somebody, and while I was out having a conversation with somebody, I don't know what those guys were up to inside, but she was absolutely... She still sometimes sees me and goes like this.
Shakes a fist.
Shakes her fist at me. I have nothing to do with those guys' behavior.
Shake your fist radio.
Yeah. I think I'm going to get something to eat.
Yes, and it's towards the end of November, close to the end, and nearly December. So let's just walk towards where you're going to go.
I'm going to go around the corner to the Angry Chicken place.
The Angry Chicken. It's full of adverts, this program. No, we should get sponsored. Sponsor Radio on Berlin.
I'm really surprised that this is not open. It's Monday night.
Yeah.
They weren't open last night.
Franken. Jason's pointing to Franken.
They're renovating. I'm not really quite sure what's going on.
What a great bar. Oh no, the lights have just gone on, Jason. Look. Yeah, literally. Yeah. I've had a few drunken adventures in that bar, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's food time for Jason, and it's bedtime for Radio 1 Berlin, and we shall return.
Stay tuned for the Screamers special with Nicholas Schreck and myself, Jason Honey. I am Boy True, aka the Shitty Listener, and this is Radio 1 Berlin.
Thanks for listening. This is myself, Adrian Shephard, switching off the lights. Good night.
You have been listening to Radio 1 Berlin.